All right, I gotta talk about Reasonable Doubt. This is Jay Z's first album, and it is turning 30 years old today. Yes, that's how old you are. Reasonable Doubt is turning 30. New York has been going all out for the celebration too. We're talking pop ups. They wrapped some subways in, like the subway um, cars, with Jay Z's face on them. They Rock Nation launched a Jay Z 30 back in June, uh, and it is you live to become a legend enough with like the like he said, the same blocks he used to sling rocks from. Not a host that he given. Now he got keys to the city, right? They're celebrating him. I remember I went to the Brooklyn Library a couple years back, and they had a whole exhibition there for Jay Z, like for his city to embrace him and for him to be an icon from his city. Uh, the mayor of Brooklyn, pretty much. And it's dope to see that trajectory and to have seen it for such a long time. The whole thing falls under Jay Z 30. This is going to be pretty much a year long celebration rolling through the release dates of Jay's catalog, treating each music contribution as part of this like living archive. He's got 3 nights at Yankee Stadium, July 10th through the 12th. I unfortunately won't be making it. Those tickets are already like super high prices from what I heard. I wish I had a connection to be there when that goes down. That's gonna be iconic. Who knows what um, special guests he brings out? We already had a little bit of that stage performance when at the Roots picnic, but this is gonna be his specific joint, right? That he's gonna play. I think he's playing Blueprint. I think he's playing. I think there's different nights he's gonna play. Like maybe Reasonable Doubt, of course, Reasonable Doubt, and I'm not sure which other album he's gonna be playing during that show. Running through the whole set list is gonna be that project. If you can, dope and amazing for him to be able to have a resurgence like this. I think he's got another project probably coming down the pike. I think that's what this is all inevitably gonna be about. Reasonable Doubt is really made a splash when it landed because this is yes, this is his debut project, but also he's an older rapper at the time. He's an older person at the time, and coming into this rap game, it's always been a like young man sport. He's already older, and haven't been in the streets, and really making a career for himself in the streets, anyways. So he really didn't need this rap thing, but people keep telling him he's nice, right? He's nice with the words. So he gave it, put the body of work together, and and it was an instant classic. I feel like we knew it was an instant classic when it first dropped back in '96. I mean, I guess there are other classics that have to grow on you over time, but there's a specific designation for instant classics, and I think this was one of those at the time, and it lived up to it even 30 years later. Like what album? Think about the albums that you might have rocked with 30 years ago that it's going to have a 30-year anniversary where it's not only embraced, they released a special edition, which is part of the criteria that I established a long time ago. Yeah, that's how we know it's a classic for sure. They released a special edition for it. People still check it for it. He is performing, and all those shows are sold out. 30 years later, this is the type of stuff that's going to be played hundreds of years from now when we're all dead and gone. One of the album's biggest strength is still the production. When I go back and listen to it, we're talking about him being surrounded by DJ Premier, Clark Kent, Irv Gotti. There's something just jazzy, smooth, and but still street smart at the same time that they're all able to capture in every contribution that they make on the project. What stands out production wise specifically is the soul samples, the jazz, right? It feels like being in a late night speakeasy on occasion. Um, Rockefeller, the motif of Rockefeller, that sort of era is sort of like what Maybach music is in the current generation. Well, I guess in the 20 teens, because Maybach music isn't. I don't know how many people really check in like the way that Maybach music was supposed to like grow as an identity. I don't know if it ever really took off. But Rockefeller records, like the mafioso, the mafia type. We got Junior Mafia was around this time. We have, these guys are wearing suits now. These drug dealers are wearing suits now. They want to fashion themselves as sort of like like a more organized crime versus just street crime, right? And taking on the apparel for that is doing things like Jake, getting these folks off, Sean John, right? In that label, these are button ups we're talking about, right? You still wear jeans, but like a mixture of street and classic, right? He blended those things in with Sean John. So, but him coming in the game as an older gentleman, as an older person, he can do that. He has that space to stretch the game in that particular way. And you know the project was just before his time. It was before his time. Well, he's always been someone that's early, a little bit early before his time. I mean, he was late into the game, but I think he knew he had to really build because he's going to be talking his that street stuff. He had to have that in the background. He had to have that in to be a true story, so the message could land. Like I said, Hope said, I went through that, so you don't have to go. So hopefully you don't have to go through that, right? A couple of tracks you can jump into if you haven't listened to the project in a while to get you back in the vibe. The Evils. This one is dark, reflective, is paranoid in all the right ways. It just wrestles with the price of ambition, and every verse getting heavier as it unfolds. Brooklyn's Finest, man, this back and forth with him and Biggie, it's got me thinking like, dang man, what if Big would have lived long enough to eventually we would have gotten like a older generation of them, not a generation, but like an older version of them doing a collab album, right? Or give me a whole like 8 or 9 tracks of Jay Z and Biggie, uh, to hear that to hear that combination, to hear the flow cadence, it's almost like they're dancing. They're dancing. They're really both hitting that same pocket. They're passing the torch to each other, passing back and forth seamlessly. The production is freaking dope on that thing. Man, it would have been just so great to be able to see them have performed together and put together a body of work off of that same sort of energy. I would have, man, that would have been something amazing to see. But it's just so freaking effortless. They're just like casually just fucking doing their thing, just killing it. Some of the, probably my favorite track on the entire project. But then there's that joint with that Nas, it's that Nas sample. Their presidents, their president. That's the one. Yeah, yeah, that one is some of Jay's sharpest writing over one of the most recognizable beats in hip hop. Every line is measured, and of course Nas is still on the hook. There, they sent it to him with Nas on it, and they get, hey, do you want us to work it and engineer to get Nas's voice on there? And Jay was like, he made the decision like, no, keep that in there, right? And it's so crazy that later, we would get this whole Nas versus Jay, um, tete a tete, and drops ether on them, right? Drops ether on them. So for since then I've always thought Nas won that battle with when he dropped ether. But either way, they're both grown now. They're both past all that. They both survived the game. They're both thriving and doing well and doing great. Can I Live is competes for another one of my favorite tracks on this thing. This is probably the best example of the album's balance. It's luxurious on the surface, but underneath it's all about survival and staying disciplined. The whole album lives in that space where confidence meets caution. Jay always sounds like he's thinking 3 moves ahead, calm under pressure, focus, never rush. This is the vantage point of somebody who's experienced, who's lived that life, and crawled out on the other side, and he's telling us all about it. This thing should be um, mostly appreciated and throw that bit on when you are able to lock in, when you are available to lock in. Maybe you're working on a vision board. Maybe you're trying to do some career planning. Maybe just even setting up for the week to come. You got a big presentation or something like that. Some big decisions are coming down. You got a pitch. Maybe you're working on a pitch deck. Throw this on and just like let the ambition infuse you and infuse your working space, infuse your creative space. The production helps you focus. The storytelling reminds you that um, ambition is always a can be a driving force for you, but it is not without making mistakes and having some trade offs. Right, it happens. Such is life. But my main takeaway is that Reasonable Doubt became the blueprint for how Jay Z's was going to approach his entire career with intentionality, strategically, and with discipline. He's, like Ti, he has his moments throughout his career where he may have taken a tumble, maybe have gone out of his way to fuck the shit up, but he learned from it, and through some grace from his family and his supporters and people who love him, he was able to get back on his two, and get back on that trajectory. Like, hey, here, King, you dropped your crown for a quick second. Um, but with all the New York pop-ups happening, with the subway station thing, and the way that hip hop is showing love and respect, and bleeding over to regular society, showing love for Jay Z, it's moving. It's a teachable moment for rappers who want a blueprint of how the shit's supposed to go. You're supposed to get this opportunity, jump in and commit to it, and if you survive it on the other side, you work hard on the other side, you can you can you can be Jay Z. It may look a little bit different on you because you're like, in terms of getting to the pinnacle of the game, getting to the zenith of your craft, the zenith of your sector. Um, this is something to look up to, and like what helps is putting out some classic shit, and this thing was a classic. Jay Z was going to be an icon. We should have known it since '96.
It's challenge day.